Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to today's ABA's Partner on the Line call. I'm Jerry Siebold with the American Bankers Association, and I'm pleased to introduce our Endorse Solutions partner making today's presentation, Down Payment Resource. Down Payment Resource is a company that maintains a database of over 2,400 payment assistance programs, down payment assistance programs throughout the United States. Today, you will learn about accessing this database and how other banks are deploying it to help them enhance their business. Just a reminder, the ABA currently has 9 endorsed solutions in the areas of quality control, MI, mortgage insurance, secondary loan sales, fulfillment services, online application, loan origination systems, reverse mortgages, best X decisioning, subservicing, and of course, down payment assistance. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Sean from Down Payment Assistance.
All right, thank you, Jerry, and welcome everybody. So we're going to show you today the 3 distinct tools we have built for banks and lenders to find and organize and review and promote down payment assistance programs, bond programs, mortgage credit certificates, and more. So a little background about us. Obviously, there's a lot of information about our company on the ABA Endorsed Solutions page. And as I move into our tools here, I'm going to show you increasingly more of our system and how it works for you, for your originators, and ultimately for your prospective clients. We track and monitor all of the roughly 2,400 or more homebuyer programs around the country, from every state housing finance agency to cities, counties, nonprofits, and so forth, that offer down payment loans, grants, closing cost programs, tax credits, and more. And around that database, we built these 3 tools that we'll see in a moment, so that you guys, so that those interested in organic CRA performance, low to moderate income lending, expanding program options to couple with your products, your first mortgage and agency products and so forth, so that you guys have access to tools that can help you uncover those opportunities, understand those opportunities, and promote those opportunities. So we'll look at those as we go. Tracy Schell is in the background. She is our VP of Marketing and Communications. She's going to be answering questions as we go, and we'll save some time at the end. And Jerry from ABA will be with us as well, so if you have any questions for them, as soon as we're done with this presentation, we'll go back through that chat log and see what we've missed. And with that, if I can ask everybody to do one thing real quick, and that is click the little hand icon in your GoToMeeting or your GoToWebinar dashboard, and that will tell me that you can see my screen and hear my voice. My screen says down payment money is out there. All right, good deal. So I want to actually start with a poll before I show you our consumer portal and then our loan officer portal and ultimately our down payment assistance directory. So just briefly, if you'll click one of the 3 options on the screen, you could just click your answer on the screen. Tell us about your company's 2016 purchase money volume. Under 500 million, 500 million to 1 billion, or over 1 billion. And again, you can click your answer right there on the screen. That'll give us some perspective on the nature of our audience today. And let's see, about half of you voted. Go ahead and click your answer on the screen real quick, and then I'll show you our consumer portal first. All right, so I'm going to close this out in just a sec. Click your answer on the screen if you haven't yet. Okay. All right, so here, I'll share the results with you real quick. So most of you are originating under 500 million a month, and that's great. That's all we wanted, was some context as to who our audience is today. So let me first start with our consumer portal. This tool is designed to help you promote company-approved bond, DPA, or MCC programs to your consumer audience, meaning this is meant to go on your website, on your loan officer pages, branch pages, or even referral partners. There's an opportunity to create unique landing pages for them as well. the way this works is when a consumer sees this on your website, they begin their search for company-approved DPA programs. That means we are filtering the list of available opportunities based on programs that you tell us you participate in or you have reviewed and approved for origination. So in this example, there are more than 13 programs in Los Angeles County, California, but we would only show those that you told us were company approved. After the consumer enters a location, everything else is optional, but whatever they enter about their household, about the location, that's going to help further refine the results of their search. So if they enter a price, if it exceeds the maximum purchase price limits of any of those down payment programs that you participate in that are being counted up in that box, then we will adjust accordingly. Likewise with household income, household size, because all of these programs have income limits. If I enter $65,000 for a household of 4, I've exceeded the income limits of one more of those programs. So we account for that. We account for a military background, which may open the door for additional programs. We account for certain professions. So if they're in education or if they are a police officer, a firefighter, and so forth, there may be additional programs available in your market, and if you participate in those, we'll add that to the count. Now the goal of this tool is not to show the consumer all of these programs. The goal is to connect them with you so that you can start the process of pre-qualifying them, scheduling them to come into your office, matching them up to any products or programs that are going to help them solve their problems. So if their DTI is close, will a down payment program help? If cash to close is tight, will a closing cost grant help? And so forth. So the consumer, we will tell them, hey, we found 15 programs, or it might be 3 or 5 or 7, and you can get up to $15,000 in down payment help. The goal is to help the consumer understand what the next steps are. You're the person, or your originator is the person that's going to help them do that. So because each of these landing pages is unique to that loan officer, we deliver this lead now when the consumer submits that contact form to that loan officer that says, hey, this buyer submitted or completed a search in your down payment portal. Here's where they searched, here's the price they entered, here are the programs they found, and here's their contact info. And with those program names, there will be links to additional information so that your originators have everything they need to pick up the phone, call that consumer, and say, hey, I saw that you did a down payment search. Let's get you scheduled to come in here and complete a pre-qual. Bring your bank statements, pay stubs, W-2s, we'll pull credit, and so forth, right? So the goal of this tool is, if I go back to the beginning, to show consumers that down payment money is out there. These links would be, for the consumer portal, unique to each loan officer within your company. So I could create one for me, one for loan officer 2, one for loan officer 3, and so forth, and make them unique to the branch if you want. The goal being, get the word out to consumers, to referral partners, that you offer these programs, you can help solve the down payment problem where that's preventing an otherwise credit and income and eligible borrower from becoming a home buyer. So with that, I'm going to move on to the next tool. If you have any questions about the consumer portal, that's the first of the 3 tools we've built for lenders and banks. Go ahead and enter those questions in the chat box, and Tracy will answer what she can along the way, and then we'll circle back at the end here. Now, loan officer portal. This is the second of the 3 tools that we've built for banks. This is the same form, the same set of questions as the consumer portal, but this is designed to be internal facing only, so only your staff has access to this, because now it's going to show us program results and details at the end of a search. It's also contained within this tabbed form so that you can easily embed this into your intranet wherever you already send originators to go to review product information, DPA, bond, MCC program information, and so forth. This tool allows them to, while they're sitting in front of a borrower or on the phone with a borrower, match them up to company-approved programs. So again, we wouldn't show everything available across a given market. We would only show those programs that you told us were company-approved, and we would refresh that list every month or in real time as you sent additional program approvals over to us. And if the loan officer has pulled credit, calculated income, uh, uh, pre-qualified them, let's say maybe they've got this buyer pre-qualified at 425, but we take that same scenario from the consumer portal and say, okay, for Los Angeles County, that's where they want to buy. They're a household of four. I calculated income. I actually came up with 72,000, and that exceeds the income limits of one of those programs. Pulled credit, no mortgage history, don't own a home, first-time home buyer, no military background, but one of the people in the household is an educator, a teacher. All right. Well, the loan officer has just gone through the same form, but in a different format as the consumer. But for your loan officers, we want them to see the programs. We want them to be able to compare the programs in case they get a list of several or many different programs because you participate in a lot of them in a given market. And so the loan officer can compare across programs. You'll see this blue Learn More button as we go. You can click Learn More on any of these programs to see details and guidelines. I won't go through all of that right now because you'll see all of this in the next tool that we're going to show you, but links, property and borrower eligibility, limitations, loan terms, and more for all of these programs, right? And then the other thing the loan officer can do is, because this is a longer list, we've got to trim this down to the best available option or the best or the most appropriate option. So maybe you're looking for flexibility with max purchase price. Maybe you're looking for flexibility on income limits. Maybe you're just looking for the program that offers the most down payment help. Make sure that the buyer gets into any home buyer education class that's required. The goal of this comparison feature from the list of company approved results for your loan officers is to be able to see what's out there, see what programs you offer, be familiar with your products and programs, utilize them when it's necessary, and from a list of available options for a given client, pick the best one, move that client forward, finish the pre-qualification, get them a letter, get them out to a realtor so they can go sign a contract and get to closing. So that's the loan officer portal. The search capability would be enabled across the states in which you are licensed, and the loan officer, as with the consumer portal, would only see company approved programs. So that's the loan officer portal. I'm going to move on to our DPA directory here in a moment, but again, if you have any questions about this tool, then type them into the chat box, and we can, Tracy will answer those, and we'll circle back here shortly. So the last tool I want to show you, and often this is the starting point or the most popular of our three tools for banks and lenders that are just getting started with DPA programs, bond programs, and so forth. And I actually want to take a moment here to pause and put another poll up on the screen. Just tell us, often, occasionally, or never, does your company participate in DPA loans and grants or bond programs, typically from your state housing finance agency or MCC programs? Click your answer right there on the screen. And again, to give us some context, but also to set up the context for this next tool that we're going to show you, which is really about product development, program development, CRA compliance, finding those products and programs that are going to help you achieve a lot of your origination goals, and to some extent solve the problem of the down payment for a lot of buyers who would otherwise be ready to go. About 2/3 of you have clicked your answer on the screen. Go ahead and click on the screen, and we'll move on here in just a second. Okay, so I'm going to close this out. What were the chances of that? Here, I'll share the results. 50-50, occasionally, and never. So we see a lot of companies have some pretty aggressive marketing tactics and campaigns to reach low to moderate income buyers, to organically originate CRA eligible loans. And so if that amounts to, occasionally you're doing these programs as part of that effort, which is, again, just part of your purchase money protocol or campaign, what we want to help you do, and I'm going to get this off the screen, is use this directory so that you can find and explore all of the programs, all of the tax credits, all of the DPA loans and grants and closing cost help that are available across your market or your footprint, and leverage those opportunities, or at least explore those opportunities to see if they're of value to your company, to see if they can help you carve out competitive advantage, shore up referral relationships, solve for the down payment or closing cost issue for more buyers, more borrowers, prevent some loans being declined for debt to income ratio if a closing cost or down payment program rather is available, and could help lower that DTI. So consider those things as we go through this tool. And again, this is called the DPA directory. We have, I don't even have all the states loaded in this version here, but there are over 2,400 programs around the country. This tool allows you to start by picking a state. And so that might be one for you. It might be 3, 5, 15. It might be nationwide. It allows you to pick a state. And actually at this point, I'll ask the audience to type in your home state, or a state where finding DPA or bond or MCC programs might be particularly important for you right now. And we can actually use examples from you guys. You tell us where you would like to see some of these programs, and we will use the directory as you would use it to find programs in your market. So if you'll type in the chat box a state, and maybe even a county or a city, and we'll use this tool as you and your users would as well. And Tracy, if you can kind of read out what you see there. Has anybody put anything in there?
Yeah, the first one we got was Washington County and Oklahoma.
Okay. So if I start by picking Oklahoma, then this tool allows me to then filter geographically. You said Washington County. So we've got 54 programs across Oklahoma that we're tracking, which we believe to be everything, as with any other state. And if we update our filter, 33 in Washington County, Shinoa Fund, some tribal programs, tribal housing authorities, Home Strong Heroes, Good Neighbor Next Door, Oklahoma Housing Finance Agency. They've got several programs, Teacher, Advantage First, Dream. They have a tax credit. PenFed is a gift for veterans. REI is a nonprofit or housing finance corporation. So all of those programs are available in Washington County, and you can pick any one of them. Before I do that, though, let me show you some of these other filters. So you can filter by program type. Maybe you're not looking for mortgage credit certificates, or maybe the opposite. Maybe you want to go out and find all of the mortgage credit certificates available across your footprint and use those as a value add or an add-on when buyers are eligible for them. What a great way to provide an additional service by providing a life of loan tax credit. So you can sort by target audience if you do a lot of VA loans, or you have referral sources that can refer a lot of educators, teachers, teachers unions, or you are in a market with a military base and you've got a big military audience of buyers. Then you could sort and filter through everything out there based on target audience. What I'm going to do here is apply this active funding status filter to make sure that we're looking at programs that are funded, active, and available, which is most of them. But just to make sure, let's go ahead and apply that. We go from 33 to 32. Okay. You can see some other filters here, but if I pick any one program, and I'll pick one that from the State Housing Finance Agency that you might be familiar with already. So the 4 Teachers program, up to 3.5% of the purchase price. Benefits we pull from the guidelines. Next steps I'm going to come back to. The goal of this program level detail is to help you decide whether or not this program is of value. Will your originators appreciate it? Will they demand it? Will they like it? Will they use it? Will they originate it? Will approving this program now get out in front of requests that may come in from referral partners, realtors and builders who might have applicants or potential buyers ready to go, ready to pass to you if you can participate in a given program. Those are the kinds of things we hear from banks and lenders all the time. And so they're looking at these program details and saying to themselves, okay, in this county in Oklahoma is $215,000. Can I do enough business under $215,000 at these income limits, which would certainly get you a $215,000 house, barring massive debt, right? Can we muster up enough business, and will there be some shortage of down payment funds among some of those people, and will this program help us solve that problem? So in limitations then, in addition to giving you max purchase price, where's the program available, income limits by household size, buyer contributions, we also give you property eligibility or eligible property types. Are condos allowed? Are townhomes allowed? Are 2 to 4 unit residential properties allowed? That's important in some markets. Manufactured homes, that's also important in some markets. And then things like, what's a qualified teacher? We happen to be looking at a teacher program. Well, here's the definition of what a qualified teacher is. There may be qualifications for programs for veterans, programs for police officers, and so forth. And then loan terms is where we tell you, okay, is it deferred? Is it forgivable? Is it interest bearing? Now we're looking at an affordable first mortgage program here, which typically come from the state housing finance agencies. But if we look at the SHIELD program, for example, in loan terms, 30-year first, rate subject to change, what kinds of mortgages can be used. This is for police and fire. That's all defined here. And if you decide you want to use the program, or if you decide you want to pursue the program, then you may need to finish a review, make sure that it meets your seller servicer guidelines. You might need to contact the program administrator and ask a few questions, or get a sample note, or figure out what the application or training fees or costs might be. That's all going to vary by program administrator, but we give you links to the program page on the program provider's website, their guidelines, participating lender information, all of which is designed for all of these programs to get you to the source of the program, understand that program, and get it out to your originators if it's of value to you. So let's explore a little bit more. Tracy, who else has submitted a market request here that we can pull up?
Sure. We did get a couple in another market in Jackson County, Missouri. We had a few people write that one in.
Okay. 51 funded available programs across Missouri. Just scrolling through the list, a lot of stuff around Greater St. Louis. Blue Springs, Columbia, Jefferson City, Lee's Summit, they all have programs. Lee May Housing is a nonprofit that gets involved in a lot of down payment programs. MHDC has a bunch of options, more nonprofits. But you said Jackson County, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So Jackson County, we trimmed the list from 51 programs to 38. Builders Development Corporation, that's a nonprofit. If we click on that, they're funded by neighborhood stabilization programs. That's for specific homes, but program can offer up to $10,000, 0% interest, deferred loans, and no first-time homebuyer requirement, which was pretty common for neighborhood stabilization programs. Links to the program provider's website, contact info, everything we saw before. All of that program level detail, pretty healthy income limits given the market. Loan terms, so it depends on the assistance amount in this case, but 5-year affordability period forgiven afterwards. That's a pretty good deal, right? 0% interest, no monthly payments. So all of that detail, City of Blue Springs, Lee's Summit, they have programs in this county. All of the statewide programs, of course, are an option. PenFed Dream Makers grant, that's a grant for veterans. So all of those, again, provide program level detail, and I'll pull up another market here while I talk through this. Tracy, what's next here? What requests do we have?
Sure, in Tampa, Florida.
Okay. Florida ranks, I believe, number 2 in terms of the volume of programs available. Almost 300 programs, over 250 programs in Florida. And Tampa, so I'll type in is that right? Hillsborough County? Yeah, that's Tampa. So in Hillsborough County alone, without filtering by product, 44 programs, or without filtering by program type rather, 44 programs. City of Tampa has their own programs. Florida Assist, Florida First. These are all the state housing finance agency, Florida Housing Finance Corp. And if you already participate in those, the Hardest Hit Fund is relatively new. They still have an MCC that's been very popular. Military Heroes is still ongoing. And then the county has a housing finance authority. And then there's a local realtor association that has a foundation. So those kinds of things, and that shows you a pretty eclectic mix of opportunities and a diverse array of program administrators. So we track the foundations, the housing finance agencies, the cities and counties and community development departments and so forth. And if you wanted to look at the City of Tampa Mortgage Assistance Program, maximum assistance is based on income. It can vary. No interest, no monthly payments, links to the program provider. Max sales price is a little low for the market, so are the income limits. But if you have buyers buying in the city that meet those criteria and you think they could use a little help, or you could close more business if you had a little help for them, then this program is available. And that's just the lower income version of it. So moderate income would be 80% AMI, less down payment help for the buyer, but higher income limits. So that's Florida. And Tracy, how about one more, and then we'll move on, because there's a few other things I want to show everybody here.
Sure, and I'm going to interject and ask one other question. We get a couple questions about this, about specific bank programs, or if a bank had their own version of a down payment assistance program, and how would that work in our system?
Yeah, so if you have your own portfolio program, then we will absolutely add that to our system, and we will show it in both the loan officer portal and the consumer portal if you're using both of those tools. And then you would, of course, see it in the directory for your staff users. Now, the directory, I might have skipped over this earlier. This tool is not for loan officers, right? We showed the loan officer portal earlier. This tool is for people that are involved in product development, involved in DPA programs, secondary, capital markets, CRA, fair lending. This is their guide to everything that's out there and available across the market. We can absolutely add your portfolio program. We always review them first just to make sure they fit the mold of down payment resource. But generally speaking, if a bank has a portfolio program, it pretty much fits the mold of down payment resource. And you've probably seen a few in some of these screens, the names of a few at least. So yes, we will add those programs. We will show them if you want us to, and I'm sure you would, in the consumer portal and the loan officer portal, so that your users can see that that program is available. And we can talk about some other options too, some other partnership ideas that we might have around portfolio programs and publicity for them. But as a starting point, yes, we add them. Yes, we can show them in the loan officer portal and consumer portal. And then Tracy, we can pick one more market here and go through one or two more use cases.
Let's pick Gary, Indiana, and that would be Lake County.
Okay, Indiana. All right, so Indiana, 52 programs, and if we say, you said Lake County?
Yes, Lake County.
Okay, Lake. So 45 programs, and again, we haven't filtered by program type or anything, but within Lake County, City of East Chicago, City of Gary, City of Hammond, they all have funded programs. Federal Home Loan Bank has programs, and I've glossed over them in some other screens, but we track their programs. The State Housing Finance Agency. So again, we could open up any of these like we have before. Lake County has a community and economic development department. They have a home buyer assistance program. So limited to an entitlement area, but that's where you might get big CRA credits for using programs in the areas where these programs are available. And that's just one take on the directory and finding these new opportunities and so forth. So all the program details, I won't keep going through the program level detail other than to show you we capture that for all of these programs, and we update all of that on a monthly basis through the program administrators themselves. So one last use case, we've been looking geographically. If I said, well, we cover 5 states or 3 states, and we really want to know what MCCs, mortgage credit certificates, are out there. Update by product. And then you've weeded out all the down payment programs, closing costs, grants, and so forth. Now we're just looking at mortgage credit certificates, right? California, what is that? Arkansas, maybe Alabama, Texas, Florida, on down the list, Colorado. So if that were a goal, you can certainly use this tool in that manner to search by product. You can do that by state, by city or county. We could say, you know what, I'm not really looking for specific programs. I just want to know what's available across my footprint for teachers specifically. Now, of course, a teacher is eligible for any program anybody else is, right? Same thing for a nurse or a veteran. However, if they are a teacher or a police officer or active duty military, there may be additional programs that only they are eligible for. And you can do those kinds of searches as well. So Georgia Dream, normally $5,000. If any of you do business in Georgia or work with Georgia Dream, they have a pen version for protectors, educators, nurses. For that buyer can get $7,500 instead of just $5,000. So those are a few other ways that you can look for programs in this tool. So with that, I'm going to transition to a couple other resources for you that are free. So those 3 tools, we can set up a private demo and conversation to look at the consumer portal, the loan officer portal, and the DPA directory for your bank's scenario, your use case, your footprint, your user base. But to keep you informed of our activities and affordable housing issues as we track them, some of the data and content and commentary that we provide, Tracy, if you can put a link to the reports page in the chat box, and I'm going to walk everybody through this real quick. These are things to just help keep you informed. We put out a homeownership program index, or HPI, each quarter, and it's actually coming out in the next few days or early next week. The data is ready for first quarter 2017, so we're about to release the next homeownership program index. And that is a snapshot in time of all of these programs around the country. And each quarter, we wrap a unique story around trends that we're seeing or interesting developments that we're seeing. 2 quarters ago, we talked about, or last quarter maybe, mortgage credit certificates and how they're still continuing to show up in more states. We're seeing local mortgage credit certificates now. This time we're going to write about veteran and military programs, and so that'll be out early next week. But that's something that you can subscribe to that'll come out quarterly, and it just is kind of a big picture view of what's happening with down payment programs, closing cost programs, MCCs, etc. The down payment report, that comes out monthly. And Tracy, I'll actually let you, if you don't mind, just kind of walk us through the kinds of material that these banks might find in the down payment report on a monthly basis.
Sure. Yeah, this might be something that you and your staff would want to look at. And there's actually a subscribe button at the bottom of this page. But essentially, each month features a commentary on a particular issue from our CEO. And then we actually curate content from a variety of sources, NAR, Urban Institute, I think Redfin is in this last one, just anything that has to do with down payments, low down payments, homeownership programs, any kind of trends that we're seeing there. We're pulling all of that together on a monthly basis because there is so much data out there. So if this is a topic that you're interested in and you're on that side of the business at your organization, this could be a great report for you and your team.
Cool, thank you. And so also on that reports page, you will see a sign up for our newsletter at the bottom of that page. We have a professional version for lenders as well. That's twice a month. We just send out information that you may find useful, news, trends, but the hottest news at the time, or the best available story at the time about affordable lending, first-time buyers, CRA, millennials, whatever it is that we're seeing or hearing or is being written about us or even by us sometimes about these topics that impact the business we're all trying to engage in. And then, of course, we have a blog, and that's at the top right of this reports page. So all of those reports are you can get all of them from this one reports page, downpaymentresource.com/reports. And that opens up a stream of content and news coming to you about what we're doing, about what's impacting what we're doing, and how that impacts you and your efforts at carving out more purchase money originations, organic CRA performance, shoring up referral relationships, LMI lending, and so forth. So with that, I think we will pause here for a moment. I'll leave the reports page up, and let's let's start taking some questions. Before I do that, though, Tracy, anything else to add about the reports or the content from this page?
No, I think you did a great job. I'll just note, one thing I will note is our blog is really consumer facing. It's intended for first-time homebuyers, new homebuyers, millennials. So if you're looking for additional content to share, we would love for you to check our blog out and share some of those pieces.
Okay, good deal. So thanks for joining. We're going to start Q&A here in just a sec. If you have to go, thank you for joining us, and you can reach out to us at info@downpaymentresource.com if you have any questions or if you want to schedule a follow-up.